audio sounds alright.
Does it even say you're streaming? I don't think so.
It should be saying that now. It was supposed to... what is it? Oh wait, it should have started a few minutes ago. Yeah, I had to hit like 2 buttons for it. Let me make sure that the audio sounds fine.
That sounds professional. Oh boy.
Oh, there it goes. It's running. Hey.
Let's go.
Alright, just... I also need to get my glasses because I can't see the chat.
Time to go and ruin more.
Alright. Music be in the background, but very soft. What am I doing? Where's my glasses? Glasses!
Hello everyone, whoever is watching, welcome to the Morphinage. And we will be discussing about different affixes for, we're gonna put them in tier lists. And so you guys can tell what's good and what's bad, basically.
Yeah. Don't mind me, I'm just very opinionated.
Where the hell did I put my glasses?
I would rather be honest regarding this. So, you guys ready for this?
Hell yeah. We'll see what's going on.
Oh wait, the last tier didn't save up, huh?
What do you mean the last tier didn't settle?
If I remember correctly, there was a tier below throw it in the trash, and underneath it was stamina.
Nah, it's okay. Oh no. We don't need a stamina tier, but yeah, that can go into the trash. We'll go there later.
Alright, I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back. Let's get started.
Yep.
Oh, hey there, HHH. Let me just put this chat up here and let me make sure that I have the window for the thing. Alright, so with me is Dae and the Degen John. If you don't know their channels, it's in the description. You can check them out. But we will be discussing and putting all these new Genesis abilities in one of these tiers. The God tier, the good tier, the so-so tier, the mid tier, and then throw it in the trash tier. Now these are our opinions. You don't have to fully agree with us, but we are going to be explaining why we will put it in said tiers. Now, with these abilities, I would also be pointing at some of the stuff when it comes to farming it, ease of use, all that jazz. So, before I even start, do you two want to introduce yourself a bit more, or?
Sure, I guess. Well, hello guys, my name is Dae, and I'm the cursed guy, basically. I talk about if you guys fucked up some unit, it will be on my channel. I will be helping you guys to build better unit, not some guard shit, everything resistant, like, stop doing that. But my channel is basically just giving you ideas and how you're supposed to play the game according to our opinion. We're veteran. We are playing the game for quite a while, and we know how things work according to SEGA, the release and whatnot. So we're here to try to help you guys to get things straight and, try to help you improve your gameplay. And just a small advertisement, I do have class guide and everything in my channel if you guys want to check it out. It's cool, give you a basic idea on this or that. And some smaller guide like vertical range and all those other stuff too. So you guys are welcome to check out my channel. Thank you. That's me. And my name is Dae.
Alright, John?
Hey there, I'm John, and I'm a Degen. I don't like wasting people's time, so I make 2-minute farming videos just so you don't have to watch 20-minute one. That's about it.
Alright.
Also, fuck stamina.
Alright. And obviously, I used to be the quote-unquote affix god, but I play a good chunk of PSO2. And then I also do New Genesis, so... Yeah, you guys should already know what I do, actually. I don't need to do an introduction. Anyways, let's get started. John, is there a website where I can display some of these abilities? names and the actual stats?
There's one in. Well, there's the Visiphone. Let me fetch that for you.
All right. So while John does that, El Domina. Dae, do you have any thoughts about it? Where would you want to put it?
God tier.
Alright.
I'll give you a why. It's a God tier. Well, it's kind of hard to make, but it's worth the effort. 1.5% damage to everything, and 5 HP and 3 PP. It's like all-rounder stuff because it gives attack to all type of attack. We have strike, range, and tag. It give a 1.5 to everything, so it's pretty good no matter what you're trying to build. It's just hard to farm because you need material, you need node A, B, C, and D. I try to farm that and get money, but it's a lot of hard work. But if you do put that on your gear, it's awesome. It's awesome to have. So it's a God tier, but a lot of work though. That's how I feel about it.
All right.
I'd also say it's God tier because it's pretty convenient. There's a bunch of stats you do about it, and overall, you don't need to worry about what class you're using it on because it's a flat potency boost. In terms of farming it, I would give it a so and so tier because it's so annoying to farm some of the nodes.
For me, I would have to, even though I would want to put it up there in God tier, you do have to consider the farming aspect. And if you're not familiar with Air Domina, it is pretty much an ability that gives you damage 1.5%, HP plus 5, PP plus 3. In terms of the success rate, it's 9%, so if you have 10 capsules, you can push it to 90%, which is pretty high. But once again, my rule of thumb is you gotta be careful. Even if it's at 90%, it's not at 100. You can push it to 100 if you have 10%, but you would need to get those 10%. So in terms of the abilities, it is nice because it is 3 abilities. You are given damage, HP, PP, which isn't bad, especially if you can stack on it. So if you have 3 unit pieces, 1 weapon with all these Aerodominas, pretty much that's, what is it, quick math, like 6% damage, 20 HP, 12 PP. So that's nice. The only problem is the farming aspect, where it's going to be a pain in the butt because you need to get all these different types. To make Aerodomina, you would need note A, B, C, and D, and you need to farm in specific
and material
regions.
too.
Oh yeah, it also requires
Trinite and Photon chunks.
Trinites. Trinites are going to be a pain because, well, you can get them. It's just that they're a bit.
You just gotta farm.
Yeah, you gotta farm for it, and it's a bit on the rare side. But it's not impossible to do.
It should drop. About the Trinites though, it should drop a lot in rank 2 areas, like rank 2 battle areas. So the 8-man areas. Whenever there's a Stella pack, it usually gives you 1 to 2 Trinites. So it's not that bad. The annoying part is the photon chunks, because those usually show up on gold boxes which spawn daily.
Yeah. So you two said God tier, right? Or
well, God tier, so tier for me. I'd probably put it on good tier.
Yeah,
because
maybe
of
good
farming
tier because the
annoyance.
farming is so much to do.
alright. Looks like we all put it on here. Alright, next ability. So air note A. Now this ability by itself is
5 HP and 3 PP, I think.
5
pretty sure.
HP, 5 PP. And
5, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you need to farm this in the central area, and if you were to max this out in terms of success rate, it can go to a 90%. So I'll let Dae start it off. Where do you think this ability should go for? Or go to?
Farming aspect, it's okay, but like, they only give you HP and PP though. No damage increase, no other things. I say it's kind of like a so-so tier, but well, it's kind of between. It's either good or so-so because well, farming is a lot easier than Eldomina, but what it gives is actually not too much. So what it gives is kind of like a good tier, well, like a so-so tier, but like farming is like a good tier. So in between those two, I suppose, somewhere around there.
Gotcha.
You guys can decide, I suppose.
All right, John.
Well, for me, it's somewhere in between meh and throw it in the trash.
Really?
Because, yeah, it's in Central Alio, which you should be going through. Unless you're that one person who just teleports everywhere using a Ryuker, good on you. Or you can just usually farm it in Central Alio, or while farming meat, you'll most likely get one or two of these. Stat-wise, it's meh. The only saving grace this affix has is the fact that you use it to make Ale Domina. So, I'll put it, I guess, on meh.
Looks like we got a lot of mixed opinions about this.
Alright, what about you, Morph?
So-
What do you think?
With this ability, I'm gonna have to be between so-so and meh. Because it's not entirely bad, but at the same time, I got a lot of mixed feelings about it. It does give you a general stat, which can be used for, let's say, most classes, where you can build up on HP PP, and if you get multiple of these certain abilities on multiple stuff, like 3 units, 1 weapon, it can stack and can be useful. However, I would say it's kind of down there, because there's going to be more abilities down the line, and I got a feeling that they'll be able to push for higher numbers. So it only covers 2 abilities. In terms of farming it, it's not bad, but it's just like an okay ability to go for. But I would lean more on the meh side, because especially if there are possible abilities down the line where it can really push for some things, this may not be the one. It can be used temporarily, but in the long run, I don't think it's going to be there. Granted that I feel like a lot of these abilities are going to be within certain other ranges as well, and it's a bit like it's just the beginning stuff, and I know there's going to be higher grades later, but right now I would just put it in the mid tier. So
Alright, so it's gonna belong to bad tier?
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's meh.
All right, so
Like, the only thing stopping it from being thrown in the trash is because I'm gonna use it to make Ale Domina and sell it to people. That's about it.
Fair.
all right, so Note B. Note B is gonna be striking weapon damage and range weapon damage. If you max this out, the success rate is 90%, and in terms of where it can drop, it's in Western area.
Do I go first?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a mad tier for me. Well, not even a so-so, because it's only 1%. And for now, unless you're using 2 kind of weapon that's from like different, like let's say you're using a sword and a wand, that like something like that, 2 type of different damage. You do that, but like you don't really have a point to do that. You have other better choices to get like 1.5 to 2% damage on 1 capsule with something else, like a soul or like Giga or something like that. It's only giving you 1%, so unless you're doing like 2 different kind of weapon that's different type of attack, then you don't have a point, I suppose. So it's kind of like meh to me.
For me, I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'll put Ale Note B into good tier for one reason.
Dang.
There's one reason. There is a certain class that uses striking and range damage, and it's coming out in a month. If I were a cheapskate, or if I were a noob, and I can't farm anything that's Gygas related or Dreadkeeper, Ale Note B is already a good addition to my weapon. Especially since, if I'm not familiar with the multi-weapon system, I'd most likely be the guy who would fuse my katana and my bow into one weapon. So just for the sake of it being useful to Braver, I'd put it on good. But after a few months, I'll drop it to so-so, because there's most likely gonna be more multi-weapon abilities out there.
Yeah.
What about more?
Also because it's very easy to farm. It's in Western Alio, where basically everyone Gygas hunting is sitting right now.
I guess. Anyways,
Yeah.
For me, I'll most likely put it in so-so tier because when it comes to, and I guess we can kind of go in the future as well and mention C, D as well because they're pretty much in the same boat where it gives
they're
1%.
the same, yeah.
It's just that it's different types.
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna say it's very situational, and I'm still gonna say that once again, some of these abilities are just basic abilities for now, and there's most likely gonna be an ability that can push past that 1%, like give 1.5% or 2%. But temporarily in this case and right now, I'll just put it in so-so because there's a lot of there's certain situations where you would want to try to emphasize on both damage types. But at the same time, it does ultimately depend on what weapon you're using, what class you're doing, and if you're aware of the perks of trying to emphasize on that damage percent. So
I'd agree with C, but I would disagree with D. Because so far we do not have a class that uses both range and tech. That is not a Scion.
True.
I mean,
But
Unless
you know,
they somehow made-
they kind of work similar ways. So you know, maybe in the future there's gonna be a class that use range and tech that will
couldn't
kind of fit the same situation as B right now. You know.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Unless they actually
multi-class
go
weapons-
and make summoner unless they make summoner wield a rifle or something, then yeah, I guess range tech would be nice.
But how about multi-class weapons? Like, let's say you have range and let's say a rifle and a rod. Wouldn't D kind of work with that, or?
I mean, D
Suppose
would
you
work with it,
can.
but my question is, why are you using a rod with a rifle?
Fair enough. I mean,
run with the launcher with the PP region weapon action. I mean, that can work, you know.
right.
Yeah.
So I feel like because of the thing about the multi-class weapon is that it does kind of influence that, but at the same time it does kind of fall down into style because if I had to point at some of the old things that we did back in base PSO2, like weapon swapping with just chat commands, I'll be able to save a good chunk of your resources and you can just swap between it instead of like having it within its own, but actually doing a multi-class. So
The multi-class weapon system's very scuffed, but we can probably discuss that another time.
Yeah. Alright, so you want to put D in a different ranking?
I feel
I'll
like
put D in May.
BCD should be. I feel like BCD can be the same for now though. But if you want to put it in May, I mean, sure, you don't have any class use range and tech at the same time. I guess that
Yeah.
can work too, yeah.
So,
Yeah, we can update it on a later episode or something.
alright, so for B, we would put it in so-so or?
I feel like B and C is so-so, and then D just meh for now.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I'd agree in. That's
Alright.
that's a good consensus.
Now, where's that window? Alright, next ability is Secret. What the heck is Secret?
Oh, Secret, the one give you less health, but you gain 1.5% damage on tier 2, and then floor damage 1.5, and you lose 1.5% damage resistance thing. It's a
It's
common.
basically
It's a common
Persona
thing,
Rev.
you know? Yeah, Persona Rev, basically.
Where are you? Is that new?
Yeah. It's like let's see, what's the
Oh, it's
Japanese
up here.
name for it?
I found
It's
it.
all secret
Alright,
for the
so
Japanese side.
this ability, if we go to the grade 2, it is at 8%, so maxing it out with the capsules is 80%. In terms of the effects, there's 4 effects, and one of them isn't, 2 of them are bad.
Too good, too bad. Yep.
Yeah, so damage is going to be increased by 1.5%, minimal damage 1.5%, damage resistance negative 1.5%, HP negative 10. So there you have the floor.
So because obviously it's like Persona Rev. Oh yeah, 40 attack, but you lose. You know what does Persona Rev lose again? HP or some shit? I forgot. No, defense.
It increased your
Yeah.
attack. Yeah, it did
Yeah,
increase
lose
your
defense.
defense.
So it's like you want more damage, 4 damage, you lose some health and damage resist. It's completely up to you. I mean, you get good and bad. It's like a double-edged sword. So, but I mean, it's not that hard to farm that. I'm pretty sure if you go to like rank 2 area, you get some. So I got a
Yeah.
lot by farming. So it's like not hard to farm, but the only thing is 80%. You have to deal with that. You have to kind of chance that thing. It's good because 1.5% damage, obviously all type of attack. I would say that's good, but like the bad thing is just you gotta sacrifice your health and damage this. If you're fine with that, then go for it. So it's like in the middle for me. So it's also tier for me.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and put it on good tier, bordering god tier.
Alright.
No, hear me out on this.
Okay, go for it.
Because Alt Secreta is, if you look at it as a capsule, Alt Secreta is kind of a double-edged sword because of the damage resistance HP -10. But there's a certain weapon series that can, there's a certain unit series that can render the demerits almost nothing. It's the Vialto series. If you it's the yellow armor. If you have the Vialto series as a unit and you put Alt Secrets on it, you basically just negate most of the bad effects on it, which is why I would put it bordering on God tier. Especially right now, damage resistance isn't really something you should care about, and if you care about damage resistance, you may want to play another class. Maybe Hunter. I don't know. But yeah, I would actually put it on good tier.
I will most likely say so-so tier because this is like Persona Rev because it does increase your damage, but it decreases your damage resistance and HP. I'm not a big fan of stuff that takes away stuff, but this ultimately boils down to your actual skills and how you can balance that out, because I know some people who literally play glass cannon stuff and they would risk the damage resist or HP and just really emphasize on that. Now, it will also depend on the class as well, because let's say you play Hunter. There's various ways you can play Hunter. You can go on the offensive or the defensive. If you lean more on the defensive, this may not be ideal for you, but that depends ultimately on how you play and how you personally feel about it. But it's not, personally for me, oh, thank you whoever subscribed. Personally for me, I'm not a big fan of stuff that takes away stats, but that's just me. And if you can even it out, like how John mentioned, a certain unit piece that can build up on that again and just kind of cancel it out, it's fine. But personally for me, I'm not a big fan of stuff that takes away stats. So
Also because we're already kind of used to dodge or die at this point.
right, so
Episode 4 has trained us.
Dae and I
really
said
harsh.
so-so, and then John said good. So we're okay with putting it in so-so?
Okay, I'll yield to that.
Alright. Next ability, Alt
Oh,
Soul.
God.
What is this one?
Oh
In the
god.
trash. Throw it in the trash.
Also, what does it give again? 2% forward damage and 10 health or
Wait,
something?
what is it? Oh, Alts.
No, Alt Soul is
10
the
health and
damage
2.
resistance.
Oh,
Oh, 2% damage resistance HP plus 10 if we're referring to the grade 2. Note that the grade 2, if you max out the success rate, it's gonna be 80%. Alright. So, Dae?
trash can? No reason? You know why 80% damage resistant and health? You have better thing to go for. I mean, I feel like damage resist shouldn't be really focused that much. Well, if something comes that damage resist with damage or some other stats is okay, but it only comes health. So I feel like it's a really defensive capsule or ability augment you can have, but like, is it worth it? Probably not, right?
Reminder that there is no
so.
tank roll in PSO2.
Okay, so on one of my videos, I talk about PSO2 is a unique game. It's in its own category where there is no tank, no healer. Yes, you have classes like Tekker give you support, but it doesn't mean Tekker is a support class. But that's something we talk in other time. But yeah, this thing can go into the freaking trash can. We don't talk about this thing at all. Yeah, basically. And also, you can throw that below the trash can because that shit doesn't even give you anything else besides 5 health. So, hell no.
Alright, John?
Well, they said most of the things I want to say, but most of all is if you're running this in a UQ and you start complaining to me that it's slow, This is on you. I'd say it's on you mostly. Because
Oh shit.
it's a fix.
Oh shit.
Alright,
10
so
HP, 2% damage resistance for an 80% chance? You're the idiot who actually used the 10% to make this a 90. So you should feel bad on using this affix. I wouldn't even put it in the trash can. I would put it in a tier called stamina.
oh god. Alright, you good, John?
I'm good.
Alright,
I'm
so
good. I just really hate that affix.
in all honesty, I will have to also put it in the trash because it's not the the problem with this is that it's very niche and it's very situational. The big thing is hunters can benefit off of it if they were playing defensively, but once again, depends on your style. Hunters can go aggressive with it and they may not want to emphasize on damage resist. This,
AKA beef.
it's in that boat. It is very niche. The only reason why you might want to go for it, but granted that once again it's still new and you can go for better, higher grades later down the line. Like this isn't something that I would try to hyper focus on. Like it's gonna be hopefully New Genesis provides outlets or certain content where a tank might be needed, but until they show that, this is not an ideal ability to go for. Most of the abilities that we're looking at and judging as well, we're looking at it in the broad sense of like, can any class use this to their advantage? I can only see Hunter kind of benefiting off of it, maybe even a Tucker with combination of Hunter, but any other class like Gunner, Fighter, like why would you build damage resist when it's not built like that? So I would have to put this ability in the trash tier.
Yeah.
We're all good with that?
Yep.
Yep. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Another good point is what ECU says. If you have like the Iron Will, like why are you trying to build defense when you can rely on that?
You have Flash Guard.
That too. Alright. So
Or you have this thing called the block button.
Is
or
this
the
a
parry button.
Daedra Soul that I'm staring at? Or is
Yeah.
it Daita?
Daedra Soul. The one drop on the Daedra sword and then the axe.
Okay, yeah. So it's called Daedra
It's
in
a
JP.
slightly different name in JP, yeah.
Alright,
It's
so
the DaeDae Soul.
What? Hell no.
Alright,
What
so
does it give again? I forgot.
Grade 2 if you try to max this out with capsules is gonna be 80%.
Okay.
And then in terms of what it gives striking weapon damage plus 2%, PP plus 5.
Daedal Soul. Wait, no, Daedal Soul is...
Yeah,
Daedra.
it should be that one.
Wait.
Daedal Soul
Oh,
is the same one.
Daedal Soul's the PP one, yeah. This
The
one...
other one you're thinking is the damage resist and then the 2% damage, I think.
Yeah,
that's a farm
damage
soul.
resistance just makes me angrier again.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Daedal Soul.
Alright, Day, you go first since
Daedal for now.
it
So
has
this
your
is
name
not-
in there.
No, this is not my soul. But I say this is a good tier
Oh.
because, well, obviously 2% damage is the max you can get from one augment right now. 5 PP is okay, but the 2% great. Why is it only good, not god tier? Because this shit doesn't drop that much. You gotta get the 1 or 2 has a really low chance to drop, and it's a pain in the butt to farm. So it's not in god tier. It's only in good, but solid 2% and 5 PP, great. But 80% not so great. Farming not so great. So only good, or maybe 2 so. But I think I'll put good tier for now. Yeah.
Alright, John?
This one I'd put in good tier. Because it's literally what you need on a soul as a melee fighter. You need PP, you need damage. That's 2 things that you need. 2% is already one of the highest percents we have right now. And it's the... Farming for a Daedal Soul is very easy. So I'm putting it on good tier.
I'm guessing the RNG is different between Day and John.
I feel like global RNG and JP RNG is different. When we talk about pedestal, I'm gonna be bitching about all that. Holy shit.
What do you mean?
If you did an augment with 1.5% are being counted as 1%. Wait, I'm very confused about that, ECU.
Yeah, 0.5 gets rounded out as a 1.
It's a bug thing, yeah.
Wait,
It's
what?
a bug.
Oh.
It's a bug with their
It's a visual bug,
calculation.
yeah, but it's actually still 1.5.
Why are there Well, anyways, let's stay on topic before I rant about that.
Yeah.
About the bugs later.
Daedra. Okay, so I would have to. I'm gonna most likely put it into good tier because if I have to try to separate some of these abilities and focus on what can be placed on certain stuff, like this ability would be good on weapons, especially if it's melee oriented or it does increase the S attack for it. So yeah, this I'll put in good tier. In terms of farming it, I barely go for the giant, although I would start doing that just because I need practice, but that could be said in a different story. What is it? It's a 2%, pretty good. Gives you PP as well, so you are increasing that. And my rule of thumb with weapons is that I would want to try to focus on that particular stat. I may not want to go too crazy with it unless I'm sure that the meta is going to stay the same, or I know that the weapon series it's not going to change anytime soon. But if I'm changing weapons constantly, I would rather stick with something that's common and not as bad in terms of what it can give. It doesn't give as many stats, but it does do the job, especially if it is for a striking weapon. So I'll put this in the good tier, and everyone agrees good tier?
Good tier, yeah.
That's good,
soul.
yeah.
Alright, so deftness. Oh gosh, that's isn't that dex?
Dexterity? I think Deafness 3 is 2% floor damage, I'm pretty sure.
What's the JP name?
Dex.
Arm,
Arm
yeah, it's
3,
arm.
Arm 3. So minimum damage plus 2%.
At level 3.
Yeah, at grade
Percentage
3.
is like 90%, I think?
Yeah, 90%. Exploration areas, you can farm it.
Well, okay, so here's my thought. You're building dexterity, you raise the 4 damage. Obviously, you want to do more damage. But why can't you just build fucking percentage damage increase? You have to build 4 damage. 4 damage doesn't give you that much. I think someone told me 2% 4 damage is like how much?
1.5% damage in. It should be 1.5% damage if you're using 2% floor.
Something like that. I will be like, can you not afford power 3, shoot 3, technique 3, something like that. It's your secondary option, but it only gives 1 stat, so I put it in the med tier. It's not as good. That's all I have to say.
All right, John.
I'm gonna go against Dae. I'm gonna put it on good between good and so-so.
What? Oh god, this is gonna be interesting. How we gonna move?
See, here's the thing. If I'm making a weapon, it would depend actually. If I'm doing this on a unit, it's so-so, because minimum damage is actually really good in NGS right now, especially since the damage variance is so big on NGS weapons. However, if I'm building this with a PSO2 weapon that I have equipped, I would not touch this thing with a 100-foot pole. But keeping in mind that most people right now are swapping to NGS weapons, the damage variance on it gets lower, and that's good to stabilize your damage. That's why I'm putting it between good and so-so, because it's conditional in a way that you have to use NGS weapons for it to make it at least quote-unquote good, but it's not gonna raise your maximum damage. It's just to stabilize your DPS. But I also agree with Dae when he said that if you're gonna fix this, why not to fix anything else that's better? Maybe because I'm cheap, but if you're being cheap about it, sure, why not? I wouldn't mind you using this if you're running on content like Gygas hunts, UQs. Yeah, sure, use Arm 3. It's fine. It stabilizes your DPS. But that's okay. Although if you're going to do this on a PSO2 weapon and on PSO2, that's another topic altogether, and I'm gonna get off beat with the whole dex thing, so we can talk about that another time.
Right.
So yeah, good or so-so.
I would put this in meh or the trash. Now, I get the minimal damage, but here's the thing that I'm kind of betting on that might happen. If it doesn't happen, then well, shit. But the thing is, I don't like this certain ability because it's only focusing on one stat. The other thing is, even though it does help out with the damage variance, like how much do you need to try to control with that? Like if you can find a balance, then I can agree to some use of this. But that just depends. And the big thing is, like, I'm gonna wager there's gonna be an ability that can give you minimal damage, maximum damage. I mean, there's a couple abilities out there actually that does that. So if you're able to have a different ability that can cover both, or maybe a bit more stats than just minimal damage, then I would lean more towards that. Like, the damage variance, that is a new thing you have to be aware of in New Genesis. But I wouldn't really stress on this particular stat to try to cover that. Because, once again, there's other abilities that can go for it. So, I think we got a lot of mixed opinions about where we could put this.
Damn, we're all over the thing, all the way from good tier to throw it in the trash.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
so I don't think we'll throw it in the trash tier, but where do you guys want to put it in between, like, good, so-so, or meh tier?
Ideal to meh.
Yeah, we can do, man.
Alright. Mid tier it is, because I feel like it is, it's not something you should stress on, but you do need to be aware of it.
It's a good to have if you have multiple weapons, I guess.
Fair.
I suppose. Yeah, well, that can work, but multi-weapon's a meme right now, kind of.
Well, my question is this, before you move off of it.
Right.
For that ability, can you put it on units?
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, that I'm still gonna have a meh feeling about that, because it's like you don't want to stress it too much, but it's nice to kind of have it. So it's up to the person to figure out, like, do you really need it? And I feel like this might go into testing and figure out, like, if this will play a factor into your damage control. All right.
Right.
Moving on. Doll Soul. This is at, if it's grade 2, maximum percent is 80%. Minimum damage is 2%, and it gets plus 5 PP.
Okay, so this is another Deafness 2.0, a little better with the PP, I suppose. It's grade 2, but you only have 80%, so a little better. So between man so for me, I think just a little extra on top of the 2% minimum damage.
I would actually see. I put deafness on good and so, but Dull Soul I would put in just between just in so tier. Because of the percentage.
Oh, you do
Dolls
have
are not
choices.
a pain. Yeah, dolls are not a pain in the butt to farm, but an 80% failing is so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put it on so. It may have better stats, but the RNG is always against you. Because if I learned anything from Dudu, 80% means 80% chance to fail.
Alright. You're done with your...
Yeah, so I'll
Alright.
just put it on so tier. It's basically the same as deafness, but worse chances to fix. Yeah, I'll just stay with deafness, especially if I'm being cheap about it.
I will have to point this out because I'm staring at it right now. Apparently there is a difference from the grade 1 and the grade 2. Grade 1...
Yeah, right, so big, holy shit.
Yeah, the grade 1, it doesn't give you any minimum damage. It gives the PP though. But then you look at grade 2, it does give you both. And I would lean more to grade 2. And I will agree to what John says about, like, the farming aspect of it. Because you'll be fighting against a bunch of dolls. Most of our enemies are dolls.
Easy to get, yeah.
Yeah, so you could take a gamble with the 80%. And yeah, once again, rule of thumb, it's not at 100. So there's a chance that I can fail. But if it's easy to farm for, and hopefully RNG is on your side and stuff, it's not going to be that bad. And I would put this a bit higher than what deafness, because it does give you that 5 PP. Now this ultimately depends on your style if you want to emphasize on your PP and stuff, so I'll have to put this into so tier. What do you guys say? So tier or?
I can go with either Soso or Meh, but I think Soso will work.
Alright.
So will work for now.
Alright, next ability. And someone in the chat asked is being a so makes it worse. Yeah.
Definitely.
Being a so.
And then someone asked, is minimal damage the Japanese version of global floor potency?
Floor potency and minimum damage is the same thing, right?
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same thing.
Wait, why do you call it floor potency?
I know, right?
They wanted to sound smart.
Well, it's kind of like your lowest damage, I suppose. So it's like the floor.
Alright, so Dreadkeeper 2. The chance for this is a 70% if you max it out.
Oh, man.
Minimal damage is 1.5%, damage resistance 1.5%, HP's plus 15, PP's plus 4. Alright, Dae, your thoughts?
I was gonna put it in God tier, but it's only a good because the 70% is pain in the butt. I actually put all of them on my weapon and my unit. That's pain in the butt. I fell one of them. That's another 10 capsule count. I would say go for rank 1 if you are okay with that. Rank 1 is still pretty decent, and people actually farm them nowadays, so they're not as expensive as grade 1. They give you it's like without attack, but you get everything else, so it's pretty nice. So good tier for me.
Alright, John?
Well, I started farming dreads for like a month now, so I have a stockpile of Dreadkeeper 1s, so that's gonna be a bit biased. Dreadkeeper 2 I would put on so tier because of the pain in the butt that it is to affix this
70%?
thing.
Oh god.
Yeah, but the Dreadkeeper 1 I would actually put it on good to god tier, because this is pretty much a good bang for your buck in terms of stats. Like 10 HP, 3 PP, damage resistance, and minimum damage. That's 4 stats. Even though I hate 2 of them, 4 of them can work well. Like with an 80% chance, 90 if I use a 10%. So I would actually put it on good tier. It's so cost efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just gonna farm dreads, seriously, start farming dreads. They're really good money. There's a lot of people who are too lazy to farm these because they think it's too hard.
John, you're breaking the market. I'm just kidding.
Alright,
I want to
so
hear from Morphsuit, yeah.
for me, I will have to put it in good tier. I don't think I'll put it to God, especially since I got a feeling that if they do upgrade this to grade 3, it's gonna be even hell to
60%.
to one, get it to work, but not only that, the materials to swap it to it will be a pain. If you're not familiar with the exchange shop with New Genesis, to get the Dreadkeeper 2, you can hope that RNG is on your side and you can get it as a natural drop, but there is a fixed way to get it, and it requires a lot of materials. That's why I'm not putting it into God, because the material farming exchange, that's going to be something to note. But once again, John kind of covers a good chunk of points. What's up?
Wait, more. Let me cut it off for a bit. Wolf says that I wasn't trying to sound smart. No. That wasn't pointed at you. I was pointing it at the global translation team.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It was just that I didn't expect to hear floor potency, which is why I was like, excuse me.
Hello,
Yeah.
excuse me. Look at Katana PA and PSO2. Hello.
Hey,
What is
hey.
that?
What the hell is a mooring misreader anyway?
Anyway, back on topic.
Back
So
to the topic.
Dreadkeeper.
Let's go.
So yeah, Dreadkeeper gives 4 abilities. Like I said, when it comes to abilities in PSO2 or even in New Genesis, you want to cover as many. And even though I'm not a big fan of the damage resist and the HP, it does stack if you think about it. If you put this on 3 of your units, 1 of your weapons, that's going to give a lot. Now, will it be a huge game changer? That will depend on your style, depends on your skills and all that. In terms of farming it, yeah, it can be a pain in the butt, but I would try to look at it in a way where it's like, this is going to benefit me, because if I do Gigantics farming or if I do Dread farming, I'm getting experience, battle experience in knowing my bosses, because most of these abilities drop from fighting a Dread version of, I don't know, a Daedra sword guy or the Metal Dog, Rocket Fist. I know these are nicknames that I decide to deem on certain bosses. But pretty much it will expose you to a lot of things, and it's just going to help you in the long run. So in terms of this ability though, and its stats, I'll put it in the good tier. And I think we can all agree to that. Good
We
tier.
can all agree, yeah? Good
Yeah.
tier.
Alright, next ability, Form Soul?
It should be FOMS.
Yeah,
Form Soul for JP. Yeah.
Forms in Global. Now this ability gives striking of weapon damage 2%, damage resist 2%, and it's at 80%. Your thoughts, Dave?
Go for Hunter. Oh, I mean, if you want some damage resistance, I suppose, but the main thing will be the 2% damage increase for melee. It's another choice for aside from the Dados. So if you can get that one, I mean, I use this one on my ult. It's not bad. Make you a little more tanky, like tiny bit. Well, if you stack all of them on 3 pieces of unit, yeah, you get 6%. And so how I look at it is the best augment / ability right now will give you 2% damage to your type of damage. So that's the best you can get. So you get 2% here. Aside with something else, so pretty good. I say I don't know what tier I'm gonna put it in though. Probably between good and so because the 80%. I guess, but it's actually not hard to farm though. That's the thing.
Alright, before we go on, someone did point out in the chat that apparently this is wrong that I've been reading. Apparently Dreadkeeper 2 was at 8% and it goes to 80%, so...
Let me double check that to
Alright.
be sure. Yeah, I don't know why the Visiphone isn't. Let's see.
I think we're still okay with our ranking with it.
Oh
though.
yeah, they fixed it. Yeah, I'd still put it on the same tier either way.
Alright.
Yeah, they did change it. Dread's now on 9.8. Yeah.
So the
Still pain in
that
the
means
butt.
it was originally 7%? Really? Huh.
Huh.
Maybe in the CBT they have it as 7%. I don't know.
Maybe. I guess
When
they
did
still
they
haven't
update this?
updated the data there. The stats are still the same though.
When did they update the same thing? I don't remember. But anyways, that's all you want to say, Day, or?
Yeah, I say between good and so. Yeah.
Alright. John?
I would actually put it on good tier. Even though I hate damage resistance, but because this actually is a soul that I would say that this soul is created literally just because of fighter. Because overload is so scuffed right now.
50% increase damage taken? Bro, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's not much if you look at it, but 8% is still 8%, and it's still something, especially with the Vialto set. It helps mitigate the overload backlash without harming your DPS without harming your DPS much. So I would actually put this is actually a good way of using damage resistance. But anything other than that, yeah, that's why I just put it on good tier. I would put it on good tier. Just because it's really good for fighters.
Since you brought that up, that is something I had to kind of think on. The thing is, I'm not a big fan of that damage percent taken, because back in base PSO2, the limit break was pretty much lowering your health, but you could slightly get away with being tanky and being able to do that, but once again, it kind of goes into the debate of like, you know, why do you want to do that when you can just go heavy on damage and do some other things in combos. So, in terms of this ability, I'm mixed between so-so and good tier. In terms of, if I had to choose between, I think, what was it? There was a couple
the
other...
Soul, yeah.
Yeah, like...
And this one?
Was it Dado?
Yeah, Dado's
the one give you PP and then
yeah,
the
so
2%, yeah.
I will most likely have to put this in the good tier. I said go tier. Good tier, because it is another option to consider. It's not going to be bad because most of the melee classes in the melee weapons are within Hunter and Fighter. Might change with Braver because, well, I don't know how that one will play out. We'll see. There's also Bouncer down the line as well. And it wouldn't hurt it as much if it does have a slight benefit. There's a difference between the grade 1 and grade 2 though, because grade 1 will just focus on that damage percent, and then the grade 2 will focus on both damage percent and the damage resist. So it's not a bad thing to go for.
I forgot to also mention this because SEGA actually did mention it too. Yeah, the new weapon series from the Gigantics, the Straga weapons, you can actually help offset the damage from it using a Form Soul on all your units and weapons. So that's a good way of using it too. If you don't really mind losing 20 PP total, it's
That's
good.
20 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're all good with putting it in good tier.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Alright.
I mean, in my opinion, there's only one soul that deserves to be put in the trash.
Alright, so next one is the Giga. Oh, why is it called Giga? Giga.
Giga suffix.
God,
Gigas.
Fucking every time I hear Giga, it's like I remember arcs and the stupid giant dinos. Alright, so let me talk about the different types, cause there's hopefully apparently my chat window's kind of covering that up.
Giga suffix are all the same though, just different type of attack, and rank 1 is like 5 health.
Rank 1 is actually good.
Wait, is it
Alright,
rank
just
1? How is rank 1?
just to make sure, is the grade 2 supposed to be a 7% or is it at 8%?
It should be a 7.
It should be 9 and 8 though. I don't think anything has 7 right now, right?
I'm confused with this Visa phone.
I feel like the number is kind of wrong though.
Yeah, alright, so we not 100% sure on terms of the success rate. The grade 2s could be an 80%, but on this Visa phone is saying 7%.
Well, actually, I think it's 1% more because I remember I did my Giga's Power one. It was like 90. I'm pretty sure.
Alright.
So they buffed that too.
Alright, so
Not 100% sure, but I think that's what I saw. Oh yeah.
alright, the grade 2s pretty much the dealio with it is that it will emphasize on a certain attack stat percent and then it gives HP, so it is 2 stats. In terms of the percent, okay, so someone said it was 8 in the chat, so it's not supposed to be a 7%, maximum should be, or the percent is 8%, maximum is 80%. So, Dae, you have the floor.
HP is okay, I suppose, but the damage though, 2%. They're kind of expensive right now on the market. Well, not that expensive because how like people farm the living shit out of it. 2%, 10 HP. It's basically like other souls, and you can stack with the soul. So this is like another tier of another type of capsule you can use. 2% damage and something else. I say good tier, but farming it is kind of a pain in the butt. That's why it's not in god tier. That's what I have to say about it.
Alright. John?
I would put this on good tier. In terms of stats, it's a good tier. In terms of farming it, I would put it to a pain in the ass.
The RNG is so real though. You sometimes don't even get them. Like not even the tier 1.
See, the annoying part about it isn't even getting it for me, because here's the thing: it's fun to farm. It's good in stat. It has good percentages for what you have to farm for it. The farming itself is where it becomes a pain, because you have a group of 20 level 20 characters. You have a group of 29. Okay, let's go kill the Gigas. And then there's little Timmy and his little shit friends with level 15 suddenly jumping in saying, I deal 1 damage, I do good. And then he just ruins the hunt for you, and now you have to go and sit for another 2 hours waiting for another storm.
Yeah, that's an issue, but well, yeah, that's
something to consider, yeah, when it comes to farming. Now, this will vary because it depends on how people are addressing it, but that's a different. We're already addressed that said topic.
Mm-hmm.
But
we already addressed that said topic, but fuck Timmy and his friends.
All right, so you got more to say?
Well, in terms of in terms of damage on it, if you're making a unit right now and you want to actually make a good one, you don't need a Gigas 2. I'm just saying it. You don't need a Gigas 2. Gigas 1 is enough.
1.5% on tier 1. Oh man, it's good.
Yeah. So
Gigas 1 is enough. Gigas 2 is luxury.
If I had the abilities, especially with what it gives, because it does cover at least 2 abilities, it's not bad to have and stack. I will put it in good, but I do once again put it in the farming aspect with it, and there might be some issues. Now, don't know how it is because I haven't done a good chunk of Gigantics farming ever since I just got bored with it. A lot of different scenarios and cases in terms of how people farm it and how there might be some issues, like what John says. So I will put this in so-and-so until they fix that, where they can give lock rooms or lock NPAs and all that. I will put it in the so-so tier. But in terms of the actual abilities, it's not bad to have, but because of the way to try to farm for it, I'll put it in so-so. However, with all out of outstatements and all that, I think I'm outmatched because you guys said you want to put it in good tier, or do you want to put it in so-so?
I'll put it in so-so just in terms of farming.
I say good, between good or so-so. So if you guys want to put so-so, go for it.
Alright. Yeah, I think until they solve the farming issue with it, if it is a big deal, or if, you know, it is situational because people might be able to just respect each other and do it and control it, or if some people like Timmy decides to come in and fuck it up, it's like, yeah, that's gonna be a pain. And you need a good chunk of these capsules, and you can't easily exchange them. You could buy them, but
expensive on grade 2 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends
Timmy
on
and his
prices.
arcs buddies, screw those guys.
They could also do a lot more with this gigantic stuff later down the line too. If there's a grade 2, there's most likely 3, 4, and 5. Alright. Enough of that chat. Let's go to guard abilities. Oh gosh. Guard abilities. They increase your
2% damage resist at level 3.
Yeah, your damage resist. Now, I think I know where we're all gonna say with this, but Dae, you have the floor.
Before that, I might need to go AFK for food in a bit. So
right.
I don't know. I'll be on my phone if you want me to, or you know, you guys can skip me for the next one. I don't care.
You could talk in. You could talk in the stream chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to you. We can always go back to these later. And have your opinions.
For guard, one word: trash. That's it. No other thing.
See?
Okay, I'll be right back. I'll be on my phone.
2% damage resistance, 90%.
Alright, John.
Swear to God, if you're wasting...
Oh wait, you're already talking.
2% damage resistance, it's 90% max. If you use the 10% because you want to assure you have this, you have problems playing your class. Play something else. I'm putting it in the trash can. Screw that affix.
I feel like they...
Oh yeah,
what?
Undying says that I would put it in the trash. The farming method is very difficult. The farming method isn't difficult. The people you're farming with is difficult. There's a difference.
So sometimes it's controlled, sometimes it's not. I can't really say until SEGA puts something with the Gigantics. Is it Gigas or Gigantics? Or
It's Gigantics. It's Gigantics, Gigantics. It's not Gigatrix.
Anyways, back on topic with this guard ability. Once again, they could do something with this damage resist % ability stuff down the line, but until they show it, I would not go for this, especially if it's certain classes. Most classes don't rely on this as much. The only one that I can see is if it's buff and tanky, which is like Hunter or combination of Tech or Hunter, but other than that, I don't think this is an ability that everyone should go for. And once again, my real thumb is if you can try to get something along with it. The previous ability we talked about, Form, so that was a good example of something that could give you damage resist, but also give the attack as well. So I would have to push this in the trash in terms of general use.
Yep.
And they already gave their talk. So we'll get Dae to talk about some of the abilities that we get to do without him. Yeah. So next one is Lab Note, which is... I don't think I ever processed this in my head. I never thought there was a Lab Note ability.
Labora Note. It's Labora Note in JP.
Yeah, so this ability, if you... Hopefully that percenters, right? If you have 10 of these, it's 90%. Range weapon damage, 1.5%.
Yeah, I would actually put the Lab Note in good tier. It's easy to farm. You actually get a bunch of them if you're just leveling up your classes. And it gives a nice boost. 1.5 is already good for the current content. I would put it on good tier, especially now since it's cheap. And for the love of God, people stop using stamina. You can put lab note instead.
Alright, so for me, I will most likely lean on the good tier because, once again, it depends on the point of this, and I feel like this ability, along with the other two that I see, are mostly used for weapons. And if, like, you could put this on your units, but I feel like you might want to go for the other abilities that we talked about previously to put on units and try to stack as many different multipliers. But if I had to put this ability on a weapon, I would be fine with that because it's a temporary use. It's not at the 2%, but it's above a 1%. It's a 1.5%. Now, they might have more better abilities down the line, but if I were to temporarily use it and just have something, I'll put it in the good tier.
There we go. Dae said, lab note, cheaper version of a soul, stackable with souls. 90% is good for fixing it. It's so to good tier.
And then Undying say is good because it's easily put. Yeah. So I think we could also say the same with the other two abilities that have that as well. Like the Rozola note and the Magnu.
Yeah, I would put them on good tier. I would actually put Magnus and So-So, but then again, that's just me not liking to farm in Magnus, but I would yield to putting on good tier.
Alright, where's that other one? And how about the Rozola note?
Rezola, I would still put it on good, because most people still farm Resola Forest, because they think Resola Forest is better than the lab. It's not. The lab gives you a drone, which helps you farm faster.
Not only that, I feel like it's just convenient as well, because most of the areas are close to get. I mean, still
it's
the
compact.
same thing.
The place is compact.
I feel like it's like someone can argue and say the same thing about the forest. The only difference is that the forest can also give you the dragon spawn compared to that of the lab.
Oh yeah, if you're farming for next souls, then yeah.
Yeah, so it just depends on what you're really doing in the area and what you're getting. So most of these
basically,
abilities,
if you're a force stick in the forest.
Yeah, so most of these abilities are easy. I mean, I want to put this on a unit, but it could be an option if I had nothing else. And if I had to put this on a weapon, it wouldn't hurt me as much. And the percent's not that bad. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's talk about mastery. Or what the hell is the Japanese name?
It's ability.
Ah.
For Japanese.
Still playing off of the thing. So, there is a 1, 2, 3. With ability 3, it is damage 1.5%, minimum damage 1.5%, damage resistant 1.5%. In terms of its percent, it is a 90% if you stack all 10 of them.
Let's see. Let's see if Dae says something about it first.
Well, you could put your opinions out as well.
Yeah. Well, like while we're waiting for Dae, I guess I should go first. Abilities. Ability 1, 2, and 3. I would have loved it if ability 2 and 3 can be made the same way as ability 1, in a way that you use the 3 capsules and then 2 different resources to put it. That would be nice. The way it's made right now, Jesus Christ. Ability 3, you're better off gambling with a 10% than trying to get 10 capsules for 4 units.
What was the exchange? Because I can't remember that off the top of my head.
It's 10. If I remember it was 10. Let me double check my resource here. Where's my notes? Because I discussed this while I was making the video. Where's that thing? No, that's the Gigantics notes. Where's my...
Wait, what tier did you say you were gonna put this in?
I would put it on Noob Trap tier.
Noob Trap tier?
If it exists. Yeah. In terms of farming it, garbage. Like, you need at least 1,000 if I remember correctly, it was 1,118 ability ones in order to make enough for all your set.
Jesus, fuck.
For your whole set.
Alright, so yeah, I like in terms of this ability, it's nice. Wait, why do I hear echo?
You're echoing.
Nani? Hello? Okay. So, in terms of what it gives stat-wise, it is definitely nice. It is 3 abilities. It covers resistance, damage, minimal damage, and damage. However, farming it... Oh, welcome back. Farming it, and then converting it, and then doing that exchange process is a pain in the ass. Now, this is something I kind of... What the hell?
Beef.
Hold up.
I'm just gonna mute him for now.
Okay. I was like, what's going on? Why do I hear stuff? Okay. So, I'm losing my train of thought. So, yeah. Ability 3 is nice with the stats. But in terms of farming it, it's a pain in the ass. Especially since it's not doing some of the stuff that I did with base PSO2. Don't get me wrong. If you want to get it, you can. It's just that the way to try to get it and to get the grade 3, and then the fact that you had to get so many resources to do it, it is consuming. And I do not like that. I do not like the fact that you cannot easily get this ability. And it's just something that some people may fall for.
Like behind hours and hours and hours of farming.
Or
I give you the data. I farm for a note, and I get power 1, shoot 1, technique 1. Okay. I get over 1,000 after 40 hours of farming, so you get a mastery 3 after you farm like 40 hours. I suppose if you want 10 capsule, that's pretty dumb if you ask me. Yeah.
So what I would most likely do, I'm not going to throw it into trash, but I'll put it into mid tier because of the farming. Now, they could make it easier down the line later, where future bosses can drop maybe whatever the stuff you need, higher grades at a higher percent. But until then, I'm putting it in mid tier just because the stats that you get are fine. It's just getting this damn ability is a pain in the ass. And since you're back, Dae, do you have anything else to say
about mastery?
Yeah.
Pain in the butt to farm, that's all I'm gonna say. I wouldn't even try to go for that, even though it looks okay. But holy crap, don't even try, man.
Don't try. Unless you're literally bored out of your mind, go ahead. I won't stop you.
I don't know, maybe Mastery 2 is the max you want to go for, but 3? Hell no.
Yeah.
Well, it's only 1% though, so that's I don't know, man.
It's a point.
It doesn't help that the only Mastery 3 capsule in Ship 2 Global right now is selling for 3 mil.
Excuse me?
Yikes! What?
What the? Okay, so I'm gonna put it in mid tier. You guys okay with that, or?
Yeah, I put it in meh until they
think
improve this
okay.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth the effort right now. Holy crap.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I can farm, but because there's RNG behind these capsule drops, it's not a guarantee that you can easily get like the grade 2s that you need to go for ability 2 or the grade 3s. Like I can tolerate farming, but at the same time, if it's really RNG based and you need a lot of these, it's just before Mastery 4, I'm like, oh god. All right, might abilities, or in our case, it's called power.
Power shoot and cast.
Yeah, so there's grade 1, 2, 3. It's a 90% if it's maxed out with the capsules. Striking weapon damage 2%. All right. Since Dae's back, you want to go first?
What's the one wrong? Might.
Yeah, might or power.
Might, shoot, casting. Oh, those 2%.
Oh, we could also mention those as well. Shoot and tech as well.
What's their percent? Like 9%?
Yeah, 90%.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you use a 10%, that's guaranteed 100. Personally, I'll say good because it's not as powerful as like a soul or anything with something come with it, but like hey, it's a solid 2%. You get like 90%. That's pretty high. And farming that thing it might take a little time, but any kind of mob actually drop it since a node farm a lot. So not hard to farm 100% if you use a 10%. That's a solid good tier for me for those 3 capsule.
All right, before we go on, to address Jerome's question, that is a possibility, but until then, most of the time when it comes to you farming for these capsules, some of them are easier to get, but it just depends on the location, depends on what you're exactly fighting, and it's RNG based. So there's no 100% guarantee. You can always buy these capsules as well, but it will vary because apparently Global has some high prices compared to that of JP, and it depends on the ship too. So there's a lot of factors to consider.
They're very good, especially if you're making a cheap set. It's very good.
Alt secret.
Sorry, what was that, Morph?
I'm reading the chat. Flying just came in and said, "Why did we put secret low?" Trying to remember a secret.
It's because of the.
Alt secret,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's because of the It's because of the amount of hoops you have to jump through if you want to go and cancel out the demerit on it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, yeah, but at the same time, it's dependent on the person, on how you would farm it, on how you would use it.
Yeah. Also, we got split opinions, so we kind of found even grounds to it. I think Dae and I were mentioning how it was like in Meh or So-So, then John said, I can't remember what you said, John. It was so-so and good, question mark?
I said somewhere between good. It's between good and almost nearing god tier at the current meta, but,
Yeah, so there were mixed opinions about it.
To yield it to so-so because the concern
That's like
was
a
valid.
middle ground. But if you think you want it because the damage and then the 4 damage, I mean, go for it. It's on you, yeah.
Alright, so
I use it on one of my alts, that's for sure.
going back on the might, technique, and precision. You said your piece, right, John, or?
Well, I finished
No, I
mine.
haven't.
Yeah, let's go for his opinion then.
My thing on my precision and technique is it's always been a staple in PSO2 weapons. Until we had god affixes, these were always good to have. They're simple, they're easy, and it's self-explanatory to use them. The design itself good. What you need for your class, what stats you need to raise it. So you can just put it on. That's why I would actually put it on good tier, because 2% is good. It's good, it's simple. It's not as bad to farm.
It's a 90%.
Also, it's a 90%. Another thing is, people, if you can't get a 3, or if a grade 3 is too expensive for you, a grade 2 is fine. 1.5% is still good. You can do Geiger's hunts with it. That's fine. But one is questionable. If you want to use it, yeah. But I would suggest at least 2. At least a grade 2 would be fine.
And just to answer your question, Jerome, that's something we did bring up, of how you could cancel out some negative stats, but because of our mixed opinions, it kind of got us into the so-so tier. It just depends on what you do. Alright, so in terms of these abilities, it's not bad. Like, even in endgame on PSO2, people use these. Now, obviously not the grade 3s, they went for the 5s or 6 if possible, especially with the special ability factor. So these you cannot go wrong with, because if you just focus on the weapon, you can easily slap this on. And it's not going to hurt you, especially if you decide to move out of it. Now, in terms of putting it on units, I would say you can do it temporarily, but there's some other abilities you may want to go for. Like, if you can go for something that can cover both stats, like some of these soul abilities, or like Dreadkeeper, like, you could put those instead of these 1 stats. So my rule of thumb is, once again, I like having multiple stats abilities, augments, that can give a lot more. But some simple stuff like these power abilities in or might, position, technique, it's fine as it is. Like, you want to go for the higher grades later, but currently right now, it's not bad to just slap this on and have that damage percent. So we all good on putting
Good
it
is
in
the
good?
good tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think good is okay.
Yeah.
Alright, next soul. Next soul is the dragon soul, and I'm trying to remember what it gave exactly.
I think 2% damage and something else. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just
so-
like the Daedra soul, I think.
Yeah, so 2% technique damage plus 5 PP. It's 80% if you max it out with 10 capsules. Alright, there you have the floor.
I feel like we could have put a Daedra soul, next soul, and then the Peta soul together, but they're the same. I'll say the same. I say the
sorry,
same. No, I say the same thing.
Well,
It's good with 2%, and then the whatever come with it, like the PP, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
But someone in my team in JP, they're saying it's hard to farm the next soul in JP for some reason. So I don't know. Like the
What?
price on 2 can be high. Well, no one really played tech class, so the price is kind of not that high, but at the same time it's kind of RNG on drop when you have to fight the dragon in the forest, but I feel like it's a lot easier than Peta soul though, so they put it on good tier for me.
Alright.
Dae and his Phantasy.
John.
For me, I would put it on good tier if it's just that. In terms of farming it, I'd drop it to so-so, just because of the farming part. Because in GP, yeah, you have the dragon, you have the Dread Dragon to farm, and you have Resala Forest, Global, and the UQ. Global only has Resala and the UQ. If you get a Nex on a UQ, most of the time it's gonna drop a 1. So if I want to get a 2, it kind of sucks trying to farm for a 2. Like, I had to go and farm the Dragon UQ over and over again just to keep getting neck 2s. But that's me being cheap on my RDR too. So that's another factor to it. So yeah, I would put it on so-so just because of the pain that it takes to farm it.
Alright, so I will most likely, once again, the stats good. It's like pretty much what other ability, Daedra, so that we talked about with Data, or wait, however you pronounce it in global. But the problem is that farming aspect. Now, I can figure out why Dae mentions how it is hard to farm for it, because most of the time when you go dread hunting for that dragon, it is dead. Someone killed it in certain blocks, or most of the blocks that we hopped around in. So, like, to get this dragon, yeah, the urgent quest, emergency quest, that's a guaranteed way to get a dragon at the end. You can also farm in the forest area to get it to spawn, but that's RNG. And then there's that with the dragon, and there is a difference from global. Global does not have said veteran dread dragon compared to JP, where we have the dragon. So I don't know why that's a thing in the first place. So in terms of farming it, I would say it's in the so-so until they make it a bit better. I mean, some people could argue against it and say that it's fine with them because, you know, their drop rates has been good, but especially with the thing with global and not having it, I'm just gonna put it in so-so. The ability is good, it's just that getting it might be a bit of an issue. Not as bad maybe, because you can also buy it if someone is willing to sell it, but I don't even know what the price is for that, depending on what version of the game
I
you're
would
playing.
rather not.
Well, I feel like the price is okay because, like, well, let's say it doesn't drop that much, but like the demand is not too high because everyone's playing fighter is really intense before, so that shit can go to hell.
Alright, so if you're coming into the stream right now, the reason why some of these abilities, even though they are good with the stats, we are also considering overall use. We are considering the things you need to do to try to farm for it and to get it. And I think that's most of those factors. The big problem with the Giga souls, or I mean the Giga abilities, is because of the farming aspect. Now, some people may not have an issue with it, but I've heard some other situations where people are having an issue with it, so it's kind of over the place. But I'm guessing for next...
The TLDR on it... Oh, sorry.
Oh.
The TLDR on it, Kuro, is fuck Timmy and his Arcs buddies.
Alright.
Hello?
So, they're the ones who make this difficult.
So next sub we're putting in so-and-so, right?
Yeah, you can
I'll
put
put it on
so
so just because of farming.
Alright, so the next ability we're going for is Petus, and I...
Pet does so in JP.
Wait, I'm trying to remember what...
It is so in global.
Peta is pretty much the range version, so 80%, 2% range of weapon damage plus 5 PP. Dae, you can go.
I have a really bad experience farming this thing. Okay, so I'm trying to stay neutral because that shit gave me a lot of trouble. I don't want to throw it in the trash can because that is the only soul you can have for wrench attack that actually boosts wrench power by 2% and something else. Stats wise is good, but for some goddamn reason we are comparing. Okay, so I'm comparing to John. Like I was farming Note for 10 hours that day, and then I got 2 pedestal, 1. Like, what even is the drop rate? That shit is just so bad to farm outside the urgent quest or emergency quest. Like emergency quest, you kill the boss, great, pedestal rank 1. Like, hello? What am I gonna do with that? Rank 1, I'm rank 2. So farming and JP, I don't know if it's the same for global. It's a pain in the butt. It's like a trash tier, farming in JP. But I don't know. That could just be me. But no matter how many mobs I kill, the Pedis mob with the axe, sword, or the launcher, they don't even drop it. That's the problem. So farming is extremely difficult in my experience. So, but other people can say otherwise. So probably like a so-so tier to mid tier for me, just because the farming was extremely difficult. But I don't have other problems with the other two, like the next soul, the Dado soul. So yeah, I would not put it on God tier or good tier. Just probably so-so at best for me. Well, yeah, that's all I
wouldn't put it on. I would put it on good tier because I just want to go in. I just want to go and annoy Dae more because I spent 2 hours farming and I have 50 of them.
The drop rate on global and JP feels very different. Just like that shit is so fucking bad.
I will have to say, for me with this soul, I'll have to go more on the good, especially since I have a lot of them and I was just farming in labs. So the thing is, well, looking at your comment, it's like, yeah, we could do a tier list based on the usefulness of it, but it still boils down to how possible it is for some people to go for it. Because yes, like we could say some of the abilities that you see like in the social tier, like some of these abilities are actually good, but the availability in getting it can be a pain. An example of it is the mastery. Actually, no, I put mastery in the mid tier. It's good in the technical sense, but if you look at the actual process to get it, especially a grade 3, it is very, very annoying to go for that mastery 3 or ability 3. So
same with the Gygas fixes.
And also
because we
go.
Sorry, go.
Oh.
See, it's also the same for the Gygas fixes because here's the thing: Gygas fixes are good, yes. Farming the Gygas fixes is not. If we put it on good tier and someone actually just looks at it blindly without knowing what the tier list is for, we'll get more Timmies in our goddamn Gygas runs, and I would like to avoid that.
Yeah, and also this tier list is pretty scuffed. Note that these are our opinions, so depending on how we say things, it's gonna skew some of this stuff, like how most likely we'll put this Petisol into the good tier when they had a very bad experience with farming for this ability. So
don't worry, we'll update it on the next patch if we get a bunch more. Maybe December.
This isn't like finalized, mind you, because the big thing that I'll stress is that it's still early. Like, I didn't want to do this, but John and Dae wanted me to do it because, you know, why not? It's also for fun.
That's fixing God. That's why.
Oh, well, fuck. Anyways, since you had a bad time with it, Dae, you want to put it in Stelso instead?
You can put it. You can say good, but I mean, I can go with good. I say good for the stats though.
Right.
But yeah, you can go with good. I don't mind.
All right.
I don't mind meeting in the middle ground with So-So.
This is gonna be a fun one to talk about. Sovereign War.
Sovereign Ward.
What is it called? Resist abilities over here in JP?
All resist.
Or resist 3 or something like that.
Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys go to.
Alright, so there's a lot of different grades of these. Just note that when it comes to Sovereign Ward, it's more on the global term, and it's just a fancy way of saying all resist 3. If you don't know what the resist abilities are, it's pretty much resisting a certain status element, so you don't get affected by it. The Sovereign Ward 3 is the highest grade, and it is at a 90%, and it's an all-down resist 30%. Now, Dae, you have the floor.
So compared to PSO2 base game, the all resist 3 actually give you, if you remember, like melee, strike, shot, and tech resist. Those are percentage damage decrease based on the type of attack. It's basically damage reduction in PSO2, but right here, this thing, I do not remember this thing give you the damage resist.
Stat ailment.
Yeah, it's just status. So this thing, unless you're using, what is that new unit called again from Vegas?
Not even, to be honest, not even the Straga unit would
Straga
care.
is like minus 50%, but like it's only plus 30 at level 3. Like, what are you gonna do with it? You still have minus 20%, and you use 3 pieces is minus 60. What?
And
What?
you're also using it. Also people are using.
This is trash. Like literally throw in the trash can and never talk about
Yeah.
it. Like, what the hell?
You want to know what this is used for? And I'm gonna call out people who use this.
Oh, okay,
They're using
go
it to.
for it.
They're using this effect in order to pad out their BP, because there's people out there who think BP means better DPS. So they pad out their BP using Sovereign Ward.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
So you're telling me this
Hello?
stat increased your BP?
Yeah.
The fuck?
They pad their BP using Sovereign Ward. It's a pathetic excuse to flex.
How much BP does this shit even give you though? What?
I don't even want to know, but it's dumb.
God damn.
Anyways, John, any other thing else you want to say about this, and where would you put this?
I would put it below the trash,
Oh god.
but we don't have that, so just gonna put it in the trash for now. I would put it in the shame on you tier.
Alright, so that's it. I might want to experiment with that if it does do that, but I didn't realize it does increase your fucking BP.
It's either shame on you or dishonor on your cow. Take your pick.
Alright, so my opinions about this, until they really have something which is like, if you don't have any sort of resistant ability against a certain enemy, and it's very bad to fight against something because you don't have a resist ability, this thing is going into the trash, because even in base PSO2, base PSO2, once it's finished and all done and all that, like, there's only a few status ailments that would be a giant threat. You didn't really need to stress on status ailment resistance as much. You would want to do the opposite and stress on maybe status ailments, but that is very situational niche. I think there's no, back then too with PSO2, what was it, the wound ability? I don't think you could ignore that, or can you?
Yeah, but the all resist in PSO2 is so much better than this one right here. This one only give you status though. PSO2 one give you like strike, shot tech, yeah.
Alright, so but pretty much like until they show something that requires some resistant down, this thing is going to the trash. And
Excuse me? 50 BP on level 3? This shit can go
Yeah.
to hell.
what?
What the fuck?
It's so
Hello?
useless. It's 50 points of uselessness.
Whoever think BP give you more damage can go to hell too. Holy shit. Shame on
Dishonor on your
you.
cow.
Okay, so I'm guessing we're all putting this into trash, right?
Well, because there's no
Yeah.
dishonor tier, yeah.
Dishonor. Alright,
Like,
so
if we can make another tier, please make another tier and put dishonor on your cow or something.
alright. Next ability, Spirits. Now in terms
How much?
Spirit
How
gives
much BP does it give you?
plus 5.
5?
Yeah, plus 5 at a
Oh,
grade
God.
3. It's 90%. So
Uh,
Dae, you have the floor.
okay. You might as well use the Dolso, Easier to get a spare 3. Yeah. mad to trash, I suppose, because not any useful. Besides, well, like a really small amount of PP. It doesn't give anything else. At grade 3, you actually have to kind of farm for it on the field, but I would not.
You have to go and gamble with it too.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell?
Boruto tier.
Oh no.
All
But
right.
yeah, it's bad. I don't like it. It's mad or trash for me.
All right, John.
See, I would put it below trash tier.
Oh god.
5 PP, a pain in the ass to farm, 90% chance to affix. Just for 5 PP. Once again,
Right.
just for 5 PP. Why are you wasting a slot on this? You have better things to put on this. I would put Sovereign Ward on this.
Oh god.
No.
No, I wouldn't even want to put Sovereign War. Fuck that. Look.
Because if I'm gonna put this to pad my BP, Sovereign Ward at least gives me more.
Oh my god.
And you still
I
get
would
one
argue
shot,
against that. Like,
you
if I had to
still get one
choose,
shot by Gigantics.
if I had to choose certain abilities like that are trash that I had to work with, I would have put Spirit like below Sovereign Ward, even if Sovereign Ward can give VP. But yeah, you're done with your opinion, John, so I can say my piece.
Yeah, so dump it in the
Alright.
it in the trash or burn it or sell it or put it in the shop and expect some idiot to buy it.
So
global.
it's a general use ability. I can get why people would fall for it, and the same can be said with some of these other abilities like Stamina and Ward. However, my rule of thumb still applies. Multiple other things that can give so much more. If there's an ability that can give you PP and attack, I would rather go for that. And there are some abilities that does that, so I wouldn't really stress on Spirit. It will depend heavily on if you are very, very PP hungry, but oh god, saying it like that is stuff. But anyways, I wouldn't really stress on it as much. Like, I wouldn't go for this one stat. Like, if I had nothing else, like if I was really desperate to do upgrades and this is the only thing that I have, then I'll go for it. I would rather take this over the Sovereign Ward, but it is still trash. So I think we're all good on putting it into trash tier, right?
Yes,
Yep.
indeed.
I mean, here's the thing though with what Undying said. If it gave 15 PP, I would at least consider it a so-so tier. But 5? Yeah, you can go to hell.
I feel like the higher grades are going to
Not
give
even
so
100%
much
though.
more, and that might play a huge factor into getting it. But as of right now, no, I am not. No, grade 3. I mean, it is an okay thing to just slap on, but there are so many other abilities to try to focus on and get. And if you really want to try to get as many stats and many things, like not the one type thing. And it kind of, if you look at it, you might be saying, why is my precision and technique up there compared to that of like this most likely Stamina, Ward, Spirit, Guard, Sovereign Ward, and all that? It's just because, once again, it depends on the use, and there's other abilities that can easily go for it. And real thumb with weapons, especially if you change constantly, it's not going to hurt you if you have that one particular stat, because it's just there. Actually, going to that sort of argument goes into a lot more arguments. But anyways,
I can say more about it. Is it okay if I go more in depth? Why is Might on top and why is Spirit on the trash?
Alright, you can add your piece to it, yeah.
Okay. What does Spirit give you? 20 PP. What is 20 PP to you? It's 1 PA.
This is
Would
less
you
than
really
1 PA
trade?
sometimes.
It's less than 1
Yeah.
PA sometimes. Would you rather trade 20 PP or 2% damage to everything else that you do? Like, that's why
Questionable.
you put Spirit in the trash can where it belongs.
Alright, do you want to add, or are you good?
I'm good. It's yeah, it's good there in the trash can, yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
so let's talk about stamina. Stamina is plus 15
Oh, boy, This is a
HP.
big topic.
Grade 3, maximum percent, 90%. There you have the
15
floor.
HP, I think. Yeah.
You got 15 HP.
I don't want to be rude, but this is gonna be global tier. Not really. Oh, okay.
Rated G.
So, like I always mention, having some HP is not bad, but only having HP is bad. So we don't want to repeat the cycle of seeing people. I'm not pointing finger at anyone, but seeing people at my cursor fixes and they just build stamina, and
God.
whoever says whoever says stamina is god tier, like, what is wrong with you guys? What is wrong with
I'm
you
staring
guys?
I'm staring at the chat. They're saying
Holy
I got here.
My brain cells is committing suicide right now because all the god tiers equal stamina. I think you guys are putting in the comment. It's not good. It's cancer. If you think stamina will save you, no. PSO2, you build stamina, you still get one shot by Gigantics, and not good. You're better off by blocking, parrying, learn your class, making yourself having more HP, giving yourself a little more room to make mistake does not help much. And like I said in the video before, why is it bad? You rely on your health too much. You give yourself too much room to make mistake. You will not improve. So I'm not wrong, Cammy. Shut the fuck up. This is not top tier. This is trash tier. This is below trash tier.
We're triggering. We're triggering
We need
Dae.
to burn this shit right now. We need to stop people from using this shit because this is cancer, and it's not gonna help. Okay, I'm done.
It's been a problem since base PS2.
All right, John,
seriously.
you have the floor now.
Okay. So, as Dae has so eloquently put, if you put this on your unit and your weapon, shame on you. Shame on you, and shame on anything else that you will try to make. But relying on health for, if you're going to think like, oh, this is good for something like Catalea, or dodge. You can always dodge, block, dodge, or run. Keep a distance. Learn your class. Be better, I
Again,
guess.
PSO2 is not a game you should rely on health. It's not gonna help.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Jerome, why are you saying it like that? Anyways,
Happy stack HP. Take that, dead people.
To-
I don't know. Those formats look nice on base PSO2.
all right, so to add to the flames and I guess the trash can, yeah, I'll put stamina in trash. Don't get me wrong, it's not. The reason why we will put it is because of what had happened, and it's not a bad ability to go for because it is a general stat, but you have to know why you want to go for this one stat. There are other abilities that can cover the HP along with other things. There's also the factor of all these different weapon series that can give you some stats, or certain unit series that can give you certain stats. This is why you would want to mix and match and know some of the basic info about the certain equipment you are using, so it can cover some of the stats so you don't overstress it. Now, having too much HP, that is it depends. It is very situational. Again? But it's like, is everyone going to be relying on HP and go for a tank row where not everyone's going to do damage? Do you really want to have those long runs? This is going to create a chain reaction, the butterfly effect, if this ability is used too many times on a lot of things. Like,
let me just share this. I just want to share something.
Alright.
I was in a UQ with a guy wearing Alt Soul, Guard 3, Stamina 3, and freaking Spirit 3. And he complains that the UQ was slow. Whoever that guy was, you know who you are. I'm watching you. You can go to hell.
It's like, this ability shouldn't be used to the extremes. Like, there are other abilities that can give you stamina as well as attack. So, go for those. The only reason why you would definitely go for a stamina is if you are really desperate and you have nothing else. But I would say BS in terms of you farming, because there's most likely another ability that you can farm for that can give you a lot more. So it's like, it's not a bad ability to use every now and then, but the problem is with how people could overstress it and then go to the extremes where it has some issues and consequences and stuff. That can go out of hand, so I would have to say stamina can go into trash.
Can we actually make a tier? Can we actually make a tier called stamina tier, please?
Stamina tier. No. We'll stay with it.
I was gonna say, if you actually want health, look for something else like a Dreadkeeper 1 will do the job. You get something else beside the health. That's so much more helpful than just stress.
Yeah, like,
well,
find abilities that give you HP and then attack, HP, minimal damage, anything other than just HP. Like, this is only last resort if you're really, really poor or you don't have anything. But once again, if you farm a decent amount, you should have some other abilities, not just stamina. Anyways, the ward abilities. Ooh, this one's gonna
I'll
be
secret the two, though.
What?
the
Yeah,
ward
well, it
abilities,
just
the
always
guard
three.
abilities.
Wait,
Is it-
before we
No.
move to the guard ability,
No, what is ward?
Undying said, wait a minute. Before we continue this, Undying says that review me. I put Alt Secreted 2, Dull Soul 2, Dread 2, Ale Domina on my Geont units. See, that is good. That is still good.
Dull Soul is a little
Soul is-
questionable, but other things are okay. Pretty okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. It's actually really decent, to be honest. And I wouldn't judge you for that. As long as you don't have stamina, then I automatically throw your unit in my garbage can, then yeah. So it's still good.
I would say skills ultimately play it out, and you just use these abilities to complement your skills. Now, what is what is ward specifically?
Resist. It's the basic resist.
Wait, what?
Flame resist,
What?
all kind
Flame
of pain
resist.
So
Resist.
Sovereign Ward
No.
was the all resist, and then now the wards are just.
Just the individual one.
Basic, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I had to separate it so we can talk about how people pad their shit with Sovereign Ward.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh, okay. Yeah, so all the ward abilities are resist, like the freeze resist and the burn and shock. Oh God. All right, there you have the floor.
comment section.
So think of it like all resist it's a piece of trash, right? And this is just a piece of trash from a piece of trash. So it's like a tiny piece of trash. So, but it's still trash. So it can go to the trash can. You see, yeah.
If Sovereign Ward is trash, normal wards are worse than trash.
Yeah, just like
They're
a small
almost
piece of
standard.
trash.
Yeah. They're basically a less shittier version of stamina.
Well, shit. Well said.
I would actually put it in the trash can.
Yeah, I'll most likely do the same until once again there's a specific reason to why I would need these resist status elements. Like right now, no, I wouldn't even go for these. So yeah, I guess that is pretty much it with what we have right now. I was thinking about
let's see.
discussing about the preset abilities, but I guess we could do that at a different time.
You can do it now if you want.
I
I
have-
don't mind if you do it now. Yeah.
All right, how do I add those abilities?
Let's see. First the thing.
You need a link.
Is there a way? No, looks like we have to go and add it, but we can talk about it now, I guess.
All right, so
I feel like this is just a small list of things. To be
yeah,
honest.
it's pretty
We
much.
can add it later.
What is it?
Dang, we don't
6
have a
of them.
god tier for any capsule right now. Holy shit.
Well, I wouldn't.
Well,
The reason why is because it's still new, and I feel like there's a bunch of later abilities that will be fit in God tier. Like, do I really want to put like some of these abilities in God tier? No, not really.
not really. Yeah, they all have their downside. Either farming or percentage success rate, I suppose.
Yeah, also, by the way, there is no tanks in PSO2. Fuck stamina.
No tank, no support. You're all DPS, just with different tool.
I
you
feel
know?
like I get blah, 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 blah. All right, let's talk about the prefix preset abilities, and then we can go a bit more into the conclusion and talk about how we feel about all these abilities. All right, so if you don't know what a prefix ability is, it's pretty much a built-in ability that you find on some weapon and gear. I mean, weapons and units, and they can vary from level 1 to level 5. So let us talk about the Fixa attack. Fixa attack is, if it's at level 5, it is damage 5%. What do you guys think about it, Date?
I had a mistake on my video, so I took that part off. Yeah, it's just a flat increase, which is pretty good. I say 5%. It can make a difference. For all these things, either on unit or your weapon, it's I feel like it's pretty optional. Like, yeah, it's good to have 5%, but would you pay like 5 million on a sword, on a Straga sword for a 5% damage? The price is ridiculous unless you actually get it to drop and you're really lucky with that. Probably like a level 2, level 3, or even just a level 1 can work. It's not really that noticeable at lower level, but hey, it helped, you know. I'm not complaining. So it's good to have, but you really don't need it if you don't have the budget for it, I guess.
Also, trying to
At the
farm for
current pace
Oh.
that at the current pace that the game is going, fixes are optional. They're good if you're min-maxing, yes. They actually make a significant difference. But do you need it to clear content? No. If you actually do a fix properly and have good units and weapons with it, you can actually just do fine. You can have all the fixes in the world, but still play like a scrub. So it's gonna be
skill
useless
game.
if you don't know how to play for it. Yeah, you can be a good ranger, but still miss your laser.
Or miss your fucking weak bullets.
Good ranger. Yeah.
So yeah, the
Good ranger.
here's my overall opinion about the preset abilities. It's RNG based, and do you really want to buy some of these? It will vary, but it's still early to try to buy some of this stuff because obviously we're gonna get more stuff down the line. I don't know what's the highest rarity for the weapons and units down the line for New Genesis, but because of that factor, it's gonna play a factor into how I will try to advocate for these things. If you can get it, nice, but try to get it naturally and without having to pay as much. If you can get a level 5, great. If you can't get a level 5, don't stress on it. Like, these are optional choices. It's kind of like the mark abilities from base PSO2. But in terms of the...
Okay, go ahead.
in terms of the fixed attack, I would most likely put it in so-and-so because it just varies on... If you really want to stress on that damage percent, you could go for a different perk, but I guess it depends. Also, before we go any further, is there a difference between some of the presets? Like, can some of these presets be found on weapons and units, or is it certain presets that are found on weapons?
I have a video talking about it. Fix attack, Termina, and then there's another one, Fatal. Those 3 can be found on weapon only, and then the unit has 4 of them: Guard, Natura, and then there's 2 more, I forgot. But yeah, each one can be only found on unit or weapon. It's like they don't exist on both.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Attack, Fatal, and Termina are weapon exclusives. The defensive ones and the PP related ones are unit exclusive.
I see the comment from Undying. Fix a Termina should be good tier as critical hit on weak spot 100%. It's definitely worth if you get it for cheap. I don't think you crit all the time on weak spot though, right? Like, you see the blue number, but it doesn't mean you crit. It just means you hit the weak spot and you do more damage. Am I right?
Yeah, that's why it's weird.
Yeah, well,
The damage is still weird.
the crit number is like a bigger font, and it will like flash a little bit when they come out. So you hit the weak spot doesn't mean you actually crit. You can hit the weak spot and crit. That's ideally what you want. But Termina, fix a Termina, I feel like it's kind of random because like unless you're using a Resurger weapon, your crit is like 5%. You have 5% chance to crit, so it's like I don't know how much that'll benefit you compared to the other 2.
Can't really say much about it because I haven't poked at it. But for fix attack, we are okay with putting it in so-so? Or can we... Yeah.
We can split it for later because right now the reason why fixes aren't added on the tier list right now is because fixes are very optional at the moment.
It's RNG as well,
luxury.
though, yeah.
Yeah, it's luxury and RNG. And to be honest, we need more before we raid these. Like, even if we separate it.
Gotcha. So do you want to try to... Since we are still talking about it now, like... Should we try to give them a general grade altogether, or do we want to talk about each one of these individually without putting it on the list?
We can give it an all-around grade. The all-around grade for it is optional. But if I were to actually put a serious grade on it, I would rank... In terms of offensive, I would rank Termina, Attack, and Fatal for me, if it's for the offensive ones. For the defensive ones... I would go with Performa. What was the other one on the bottom? I would rank it Performa, Enthugia, Natura, and then Guard. because damage reduction sucks.
How about you, Dae?
Anything above damage resist, other three can be on top, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Alright. Yeah. Guess for me, I'll rank them as like very optional. I feel like there's needs to be some tests that needs to be run in terms of some of these abilities because we don't have some of these abilities as a capsule. An example would be like the PP recovery stuff or PP reduction. There are some abilities that get translated from base PSO2, and when it gets converted into New Genesis, it does focus on some of these certain stats. I think one of them is PP cost reduction with the Curse Radiance S2, S3 that gets converted from base PSO2 to NGS. But I guess this can be its own separate tier list, and we can discuss about this in a future.
When they give us more of these, yeah.
But alright, so let's review what we have in terms of the capsules. In terms of good tiers, and note that this entire tier list is just our opinions, and some of them are kind of on the same wavelength, some of them are different. This is what we think in the broad sense of things that make up these abilities in terms of use, in terms of getting them. So in the God tier, there's none. In terms of good tier, we got El Domina, we got Daedra Soul or Daedra Soul, Dreadkeeper, Foam Soul, Lab Note, Vizolo Note, Magnus Note, Might Precision Technique, and then Petus Soul. In the So-So tier, we have El Note B, C, Alt Secreta, Dolso, Gigas, Affixes, Nexo. In the mid tier, El Note A, D, Deftness, Mastery, and throw it in the trash, we have Alt Soul, Guard, Solvent Ward, Spirit, Stamina, and Wards. This will
Stamina.
This might change later down the line depending on future updates and all that, but pretty much that is it in terms of how we, the three of us, decide to rank them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sounds
you
about
should
right,
go
yeah.
lighter option.
God damn.
But yeah. In all honesty,
Yeah.
I once again, like, I personally didn't want to do this, but Dae and John wanted to do a collab, and
Hell yeah.
we decided to do it. And we also decided to do it as a live stream. Any final thoughts? Dae, you go.
If you guys find some cursor fixes on people's unit, or you have something you want me to review, you can always drop it in my Discord, because this is one of the reasons why I want this collaboration, because we kind of know what's good and bad, and I'm gonna start talking about more cursor fixes on my channel, like how people fuck up their unit and what we can improve from there. And so you can drop a unit in my Discord, so we'll be reviewing that maybe on one of my video in the future. But yeah, this is very important though. Like, we have a foundation right now as what's good and bad, so I appreciate this collaboration, basically.
All right, John.
Well, they already said it. We really wanted to do this because we're starting to see a lot of cursed shit in both servers. It's more harmful than it does good. They do say play as you want, but that doesn't mean play selfishly.
Yeah, one person, level 10, going to Gigantics. Oh, wow,
Yeah,
I guess I'm
Timmy.
just gonna die.
Yeah.
What? Hello?
Yeah, fuck Timmy and his friends and his Arcs buddies. But yeah, you can play however you want. You have your own playstyle. I get it, but the rule of thumb that I always follow and that I always tell people is, you do what you want, just don't be dead weight.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Well, Japanese
don't be
people
a
have the
burden
same
to
mentality
everyone.
too, though. Yeah, just at least be contributing to the MPA or other people. So yeah.
Yep.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah, someone.
Oh, finish.
So if you have any cursed fixes, you can send them today. For me, if you want me to rate your gear, you can always just send a message to me or leave a comment on my vid or whatever. I'll try to make a video about what's a good 4-slot set at the moment. I'll probably start working on it. I've been procrastinating too much, but if you actually need help building, if you need help building, if you need help affixing, or if you just want to know, hey, what's good at the moment, you can always just ask me. You can always ask me on Morph's Discord, or you can ask me on my videos, whichever goes first. If you have any questions, feel free.
Also, apparently Undying wants us to do one for him. Apparently he saw someone with the Quill D armor, had 1600 BP using Sovereign Ward 3, Guard 3, Spirit 3, and Stamina 3.
Alright, there you go, Dae. That's on you.
If you get a picture for me, I'll probably review that in my video. That's definitely gonna be a crucifix video. That's for sure. If you get some screenshot for that.
I got a feeling I know what the grade is. But to give my final thoughts about this, it's like it's kind of playing off of the same stuff that happened on base PSO2. It's like it's not going through the exact same things, because I know in the very beginning of PSO2, like these abilities are kind of like on the same level of this. You have like the Volso release, you have Power 3, Might 3, and all that, and it wasn't that grand. And I'm not giving him a true honest grade until the time comes for me to actually be a bit harsher. In terms of how you go about it, I would still value skills and knowing your shit more than augments and affixes. Augments and affixes are pretty much the last thing you want to try to focus on, because it's like you could technically play the game with very shit gear, but you can still do most of the content with it. Now, will you do it effectively and well? And if you go into NPA runs, do you really want to have that stuff? No, or it's situational. Like, I don't want to take a 2-star weapon with my 2-star units into that of like urgent quest, emergency quest. Granted that I don't think you can even get past the BP unless you kind of scuff it and get certain stuff. But it still boils down to your gameplay, because someone with that decent knowledge and skills, they can easily clear like hard content with that crap. I mean, I've done some challenges and runs where I pretty much didn't have the best equipment. I mean, the one that I did as a live stream with Oss, one of the other guys, I pretty much used like a 1-star, I think. We were fighting against level 15 and we killed it eventually. It took a while, but we killed it. So it still boils down to the skills. Augments and affixes, they're quite optional. However, I will stress, you want certain ones that will really help you. Like, you want to go and maximize your certain damage or maximize the certain stat that you like. And yes, we might toss one of your favorite abilities into trash, but if you can prove it that you don't die as much and you can carry your own weight and stuff, then so be it. Honestly, when it comes
doesn't
to
mean the ability's not shit though.
when it comes to me caring about like what people have, I really didn't stress on that as much. Like, I really didn't do quote unquote gear checks. I didn't stare at people's crap, but it had went to a point, or it went to the extremes where it did become a problem because it's having a chain reaction. I'm more of the guy that focus on the butterfly effect and the crap that happens because this one person decides to do this and it screws everyone over, or it makes the run much longer. I do not want to be in a run where it's like 40 to fucking 50 minutes in terms of time.
50 minutes, 200 death, QPD, let's go.
It's really bad, but I am glad that we did this sort of collab. I wasn't planning to stream this, but you know, it is what it is. In terms,
just gotta push him sometimes, and we got this easy. Haha.
But yeah.
Wait, there's some questions on the chat. Like, can I make this better on my Straga TMG? Alts 2, Lab Note, Precision, Petasol 2.
You could probably swap precision for the Geiga shoot too, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, you can swap Precision 3 for Geiga Shoot 2. That's about the only upgrade you have for now.
Sorry, Geiga Precision. That's not global, yeah.
Yeah, Geiga's Precision, that works. Or you can swap the alts for the Geiga Shoot 2. Like, that's your choice. Either swap the alt for a Geigas or swap the Precision 3 for a Geigas. Kuro, is this curse? Units with alts 2, Dread 1, Dull Soul 2, Domina. They're probably trying they're probably trying to do an all-rounder, and I won't fail them for that. I won't fault them for that. That's decent. They could upgrade the Dread 1 to a Dread 2. Is it the best? Not really, but at the moment it's your only choice when you're trying to make an all-rounder.
But Dull Soul though. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Alright, so if you do have some curse affixes, what is it? They said he'll review it and most likely put it in a video.
Yeah,
I
can
put
put it in video,
his Discord link in the description. So make sure to check out Dae and John. They're both trying to get into the new Genesis content and pump out a lot of informational guides here and there. I will most likely get back into new Genesis once my writer creativity is down. I'm supposed to be away from this, but once again, these two wanted to do a collab. I decided to indulge them in such a thing. And
yeah, because you're dead.
Yeah, I'm dead. But it was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Once again, this is just our opinion. I do not like these tier maker lists because some people just jump into it and think that, you know, oh shit, they put some stuff in this rank without hearing said reason. So
Yep.
So that's it. We will most likely revisit this down the line when they add more abilities.
Oh, you should save this chart, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so explain something for me. Is floor potency increase that bad? Is there a bug, or should we prioritize potency that's not that's floor? Floor potency is good in NGS terms because the damage variant, we have a damage variance in the game, and NGS weapons have a higher damage variance compared to the PSO2 weapons.
Like 10% more, I'm pretty sure.
What the damage variance does is it swaps two different so whenever you deal, for example, you deal 100 damage and you have a variance of 75%. So your damage will, instead of being a flat 100, it's going to separate itself between a 75 to a 100. So before it gets calculated, it gets on that range first. So if you raise the potency floor, you lower that variance, which makes your DPS more stable. It's more for DPS stabilization than actually increasing your damage. It's good to use for something like
in indirect way for increasing damage.
Yeah, it's an indirect way to increase your damage. It's good for something like Gunner, I would say, because Gunner suffers a lot from variance because of their multi-hits.
I don't have a picture of it right now, damn it.
Oh, I see my character there. That was a raffy and they got burned.
Right. But anyways, yeah, that concludes this stream. If you guys wanted to do some other silly shenanigans or make a tier list of something, let me know in the comments of this stream. But yeah, that's it. So
content creator alignment. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to our shenanigans. Once again, this is just our collective opinions, and we have different opinions for something, so we found a middle ground for it. But yeah, I'll be hanging out in my Discord. Once again, look at the various links in the description for Dae's stuff, John's stuff. There is the link to my Discord and Dae's Discord as well. So that is it. We shall see you guys in the next one. I don't know when the next one is, but we'll see you eventually.
December, most likely.
So, peace. Let me close it out by doing my usual intro.